Martha Jane was the third child and first daughter born to Margaret Bendoff in 1898. She lived to be a few months shy of her 105th birthday in 2003. I always assumed my great-grandmother learned to quilt from her mother because my 2 times great-grandmother had quite the brood of famous quilters. There was never much talk about who or where she learned it from. We just knew she loved to do it. I can't remember a time I wasn't enamored by my great-grandmother, or that she didn't have a quilt at some degree of completedness thrown over her knee. When we visited the Bend, or up the country as we call it, I was always at her knee if I wasn't causing mischief in the community or helping her on the farm. She made sure we knew who we were and who we came from. My great-grandfather, Little, was the love of her life and also a community leader, and she spoke highly of him until the day she died. When we were born or were small children, we all received a quilt that was made specifically for us. As we got older, we were gifted quilts every time we visited Grandma in the country. I call her Grandma because she raised my mother along with the majority of her other grandchildren, great-grands, and even further. At one point, having 26 children in the house at once, most of them being born right in her living room. I assume she learned to quilt from her mother because not only was she one of the original world-renowned quilters of Gee's Bend, so was her baby sister Mary Ann, her older brother Jake's wife, and their daughter, 2 daughters, nieces, granddaughters, and we're not counting the quilters that married into our family. My 2 great aunts, Plumber T and Joanna, were quilters as well. My Aunt Joanna has multiple children and grandchildren who are currently carrying on the family tradition. Her great-granddaughter even put together a quilt show in her honor called Grandma's Hands. 2 of my great-uncles have children and grandchildren that are quilters. My Uncle Nathan's wife Luella was a quilter. A few of their children quilt. My Uncle Glover's grand and great-granddaughters host workshops and are very active participants of the current quilting community of Gee's Bend. They all participate in the airing of the Quilts Festival in Gee's Bend every year in October, shows and speaking engagements in their respective states. My great-grandmother's older brother Jake's wife Annie and their daughter Betty were quilters as well. Their daughter Betty was a very famous quilter in her time and Gee's Bend's postmaster for over a decade. She was my great-grandmother's neighbor, niece, friend, and caregiver at times. Our families remain close to this day. My great-grand-aunt Mary Ann is another who has a powerhouse of quilting descendants that matches her older sisters. Marrying into a quilting family, my great-aunt birthed 3 of the best quilting legacies to date: Revel, Ruth, and Lucy T. Revel has been one of the more honored and celebrated quilters of Gee's Bend, touring her quilts all over the world since the very first quilting exhibition. Ruth was also a celebrated teacher at the school in Gee's Bend. Their sister Lucy T, or Lunky as she was called, made quilts for the majority of her life. She quilted with her aunts Martha Jane and her father's sister Ari, a serious quilt maker in her own right. In 2018, Aunt Lunky's baby girl, Mary Margaret, was elected as the new board chair for Souls Grown Deep Foundation to serve from 2018 to 2020. Mary Margaret is also a member of the Gee's Bend Quilting Collective. She leads quilting workshops and is an educator at the Black Belt Treasures Cultural Arts Center in Camden, Alabama. She is also an Alabama Humanities Foundation Fellow. She works closely with the Descendant, Build a Nest organization, and Souls Grown Deep Foundation.